Hello and welcome to another episode of Movies That Make Us. I'm Jake.
I'm Tracy.
And I'm Val.
And Val's on the road again.
Val is on the road again.
And that's a good song for that because I'm in Nashville.
You are in Nashville. The country music capital of the world.
She can't wait.
Yeah, like I'm right next door to the Country Music Hall of Fame. Like
Wow.
literally like just right out the door. Yeah, I keep saying that I've never been to Nashville, and then Dave's like, yes, you have. When we were driving home from the East Coast, we stopped in Nashville overnight to stay in a hotel before we went to the Armitage, which is Andrew Jackson's home.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Andrew Jackson?
That sounds right.
I don't know.
Sounds right.
Sure. I've been up since 3 a.m. to get here, so I don't know. One of the presidents.
Staying overnight and then heading out is different than visiting.
It wasn't like in the where I am right now. Like I didn't see any of this fancy schmancy stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
We were not in a good part of town. Our hotel was like a bad experience. We got out of here, and we went to the Armitage. And so for me, that doesn't count. He counts anytime you go through a state and you have paid money somewhere. So we both have a different idea of like what. So now I feel like I've been here because like tonight I got done with work a little early. I came up to my room. I kind of relaxed for a minute. I showered because I thought I was stinky. And then I went outside and I realized, no, Nashville needs a shower.
Oh.
And I don't want anybody to get like mad at me about this.
I'm not sure our listenership in Nashville is huge, so I think you're okay.
People just might have an affinity for Nashville, just like
Sure.
I'm not from New York, but like when I go there, because I just went there, I feel like home. Even though it's not my home, like that big city is also stinky, but in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also weird, but in a different way. But it feels like I belong there. And I come here and I went outside and I'm wearing like my black workout pants and just a black tank top, got my LeBrons on, and I'm walking around with my sunglasses and my bun. And there's just all these pretty people with the hair all done and their little short shorts and their skirts and their white boots. There are so many white cowgirl boots. All place, like they're all white. But what was fun is I was on a mission to go find a piece of chocolate cake. I lost this mission, but while I was walking around, I just heard music, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go find out where that music is. And I just went around this corner, and off in this little corner there was a bar, and there's a stage set up, and I just walked in like I belonged there. It was some like press party. I walked in. Their logos are all over the place. There's country music singers up and everybody's singing along with it. The phones are all up. And I'm like, this is probably a pretty big deal guy. I have no idea. But I like live music. And I got like right up to the stage and I'm just sitting there.
Nice.
And I thought that was pretty cool.
That
like
is
you
pretty
could
cool.
be in Nashville during the Country Music Award Music Festival. And there's just music everywhere. I left there still in pursuant of this piece of chocolate cake. And there was another bar with music and another bar with music and another bar. And then I see
bars in Nashville.
It's just it's all bars. Like it's all bars and barbecue and sporting arenas. Because there are so many sport arenas. Like I could spit if I knew how to spit. I'm not good at it. In any direction of where I am, and there's a sports arena. That I'm right across the street from the hockey arena. Then there's the football one across the bridge. Anyway, so then I pass. I can't remember his. Oh my gosh, it's one of the only country singers that I really, really like. I don't hate country music. I'm just not like a huge fan.
Yeah,
old school guy.
Garth?
He has his own museum. No, Garth doesn't have his own museum yet. Anyway.
Willie Nelson?
No, he's not dead.
Oh, so it's someone who's dead.
Dead.
Oh, okay.
always wore black. Always wore black.
Oh, Johnny Cash.
Johnny Cash.
Yeah.
So I passed Johnny Cash's museum. It was closed, so I couldn't go in, but there's a cool sign. And I passed the sign, and I'm like, oh, there it is. Layer Cake. That's the store I was looking for because they're a cake store, right? So they're a cake bar. You can go in, get drinks, get food, and get cakes. The only cake that they don't serve by the slice is chocolate cake.
Of course.
Buy the whole cake for $75.
Oh,
what the heck?
Not do that. And
that better be a heck of a chocolate cake.
I mean, it's pretty fancy, and we're in Nashville, right? So it's like a boutique. Like there's neon lights and fancy like loungy chairs and like places for you to do the Insta things, and like it's fun. And she was trying to tell me, but if you get the sampler, there's some chocolate things in there. And I was tempted. I'm like, no. So I got some margarita pizza.
Okay.
And I'm walking back with my margarita pizza. And on my way back, a guy in a wheelchair said, do you have any extra food? And I said, I sure do. And I handed him my pizza. And I kept walking. And then I found a bodega. And I bought a chocolate chip muffin. And I went back to my hotel. So that's what I ate for dinner.
That's a good night. You did a good deed. You got into a press music event that you probably weren't supposed to be in.
Yeah, it was an industry. It was like an industry. It was some like marketing group that they cover all of these bands, and they're trying to get them out. And like all of these celebrity people are over on one side. I didn't know who they were, but it was. I just like live music, and it was fun. But like, it's just kids. If you see an open door and you walk through it like you belong there,
you have to have a purpose.
Ain't nobody gonna stop you.
Yeah.
I think I probably looked like the stage crew.
All in black?
Because I was in all black, and then I had my bag right here. And I mean, I got some muscles and tats, so they probably just thought I was like...
She looks legit.
I mean, if they stop you and say you can't come in, at least you tried.
Where are you out? Yeah. I mean, you weren't in there before, so if they stop you, you don't lose anything. Yeah.
So it's fun, but yeah, it's definitely just like a different. There are so many people, you know, those like carts that you see people around town in Utah. They don't have as many, but you kind of have them where they're like beer things, and you have to pedal to get the cart around downtown. Oh, they're all over. There's people screaming and shouting, and country music on these carts are all over the place. I just feel like I'm going to come around a corner and it's just going to be a pile of carts. Like they're all going to, I don't know.
Yeah,
what I'm going to see tomorrow. The next couple of days. Oh.
Those carts are really popular around General Conference weekend in downtown Salt Lake.
That's funny.
I've got your Diet Dr. Pepper, Diet Mountain Dew.
Well, but the thing about in Utah is that you can take the cart to the bar, but you can't have the drink on the cart because you can't have drinks on the street. But here,
nobody cares.
They drunk driving in those carts here.
driving in those carts here.
I mean, I feel like, when I got back here with my chocolate muffin, I turn on the TV, and I think I sent you the video. Was it WW something? I don't know.
AEW, yeah.
A W somewhere.
Yeah.
So I think this is the most American thing I've ever done today. I thought it was last year when I went and saw the Boston play the Yankees, and I was in Fenway. I thought that was the most American thing I'd ever done. This is the other side of America.
Yeah, it's a different side. You sent a video from AEW Dynamite. We're recording on a Wednesday night, and she says, "What is on my TV screen?" So I answered her question and told her what she was watching. I don't know if it was a serious question or not, but I gave you the answer.
And then she wrote back.
I just thought I thought you would appreciate it because that's my second accidental wrestling incident in the last 72 hours. Because when I was in Connecticut.
Yes, that was
I
exciting.
was right next to the WWE. There are two WWE. There's like the television thing, and then there's the actual. So I was at both of the places. I almost climbed a wall to get a picture for you.
Oh,
but then I remembered I'm short, and
and those wrestlers, man, they will throw down.
Well,
I
they
don't
don't.
think it, I
They
don't
don't
think
hang out at
we're
the
there.
headquarters.
Oh, I'm sure
They're
there's
on the road. Although
I bet
this
you
week,
there's some
Saturday.
people who are trying to break into the business.
Well, they
And
were
they're
doing
like,
like
if I
construction,
do
so I couldn't
something
get super
here to
close.
stop somebody from breaking in,
yeah,
I'm going to get noticed.
yeah, they were, however, Monday night in Hartford, Connecticut. So they were
Oh,
just down the road. I mean, I don't know how close
I've
Hartford
been
is to
to that.
Stamford, but they
It's
can't be
not.
that far apart.
Yeah, it's a couple of hours.
Connecticut's a small state. A couple
Yeah.
hours. That makes sense.
Yeah, I've been to Hartford before, and I really enjoyed it. There's not a ton to do there, but it was delightful.
Yeah.
But yeah, I saw the WWE place, and I
Yeah.
feel like there's a few different WWE headquarters because I feel like I run into headquarters a lot,
Well, that
like
I don't
on
know.
accident.
There may be, but Stanford is the WWE. That is the headquarters.
That's
the
the
Mecca.
headquarters.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I
Uh,
actually took my first commuter train, not from Utah, and ended up at Penn Station, which
Nice.
I've only been outside of. And I'm like walking through there, just visualizing all the movie scenes in my head that have been shot in this location. Because I've been outside, but I never walked in.
Yeah.
mhm.
And then I went down to Soho, old Greenwich in New York, and I had never been there before. And I went to the Comedy Cellar, which is like been on my list of things to
Iconic.
do forever because I've never been to a comedy show in New York, and the Comedy Cellar is like iconic. And then
Mhm.
when we saw that we could actually see like a comedian that I knew, I was super excited. And I got to say, they jam you in there like sardines. This is no worrying about COVID, no
No.
worrying about a fire code. Like you are sitting on people's laps, and it wasn't that funny.
Oh,
Oh,
shoot.
I
that's too bad.
yeah,
Uh,
it was. I learned something
Yeah.
because I think what we try and do when we have our actual audience in front of us and we're not doing this is that we try to include the
Mm,
4 people that are in the room
you're right.
into our conversation.
Right.
And we're in this very small room with probably about 100 people in a room that seats about 60. And Dave Attell, who I think is funny, is
Mhm.
having a conversation with the MC that's over here across the room and not really acknowledging that there are people in front of him.
That's kind of weird.
And I stayed up till 1:30 in the morning for that, and then didn't get back to the hotel till 2:30. We missed our train. We had to pay for a lift all the way back, but it
Mm.
was worth the experience for shoresies.
yeah.
Well, I have not done anything nearly that exciting in the last 72 hours. So,
You chose
But you're both
poorly.
headed to exciting things.
yeah, we've got a family vacation trip
Yeah.
next week, and that's going to be fun.
You've
Road
got
tripping across
got
America.
the Flash screening.
We've got the Flash screening tomorrow.
Check that one out.
We're
Congrats to everybody that won
Yeah.
on our social media pages.
yeah, we'll be excited to see you at the movies. Tracy and I are both bringing our brothers that have
Mhm.
long hair, so I figure we'll have a hair off between our brothers.
Take photos and post them.
I lost the
So-
hair off. I lost
Well,
that battle.
yeah.
Yeah.
The
it's
hair is
okay.
off permanently.
The
Yeah,
hair is off. Yes.
So maybe you won the hair off.
Yeah. If the hair was meant to be off, you won. You're a winner.
So I did, though, on Monday officially start my training for the 10K that we're doing in January.
You did good.
I felt really good for most of Monday. Then my legs were sore on Tuesday. So
Got to stretch
Yep.
those legs and eat
Yeah,
those pickles. Eat
I've
those
got to be
pickles.
better. Okay. And I need to eat more pickles, and I need to stretch. And anyway,
Stretch
but I
the
felt
fat.
good about doing it. But if you guys haven't heard, and I don't know how you haven't, because we talk about it every episode lately, but we are running a 10K in January in
Yeah.
Disneyland. We are raising funds for the American Cancer Society. We have tried to post that link everywhere so you guys can find it on our Facebook page and donate. Any little bit helps. Even $5 makes a huge difference
And
in the fight
I
against
think
cancer.
we're the 4th highest grossing team so far.
Nice. But we still
Yeah, third or fourth.
so this thing in August, we have to be at a halfway point.
Right.
And so we need everybody that listens, if you haven't already, to donate $5. If everybody that listened donated $5, we would be so close.
Yeah.
And we have donated, and I plan on donating more as well. So we are not asking you to do anything that we're not doing, except for you don't have to run. You don't have to do that at all.
Yeah.
If you want to, if you
don't
want
have
to
to get
run,
up at 2:00 in the morning to go run either.
Okay. Nobody told me that part either, Tracy. So we're gonna have a conversation after this.
you have to run, Jake.
I know I'm running, and I will say this though, Monday. So I've done a lot of walking off and on as I've over the last few years.
You walked to Mordor.
I did. I walked to Mordor and all of that kind of stuff. Not literally, but figuratively.
Doesn't exist. It's pretend.
That's why it wasn't literally. So
I was just for the people in the back.
For the people in the back
that
that didn't
simply
know.
walk. One must do it as a challenge.
So, but I've done a lot of walking. I have not jogged since November 2020 when I broke my hip and had surgery and everything. So since I've recovered and I have not jogged at all. And so I did half.
Good deal.
I did half jogging and half walking on Monday, and it was the first time that I felt like, yeah, I can do this 10K.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can't do it tomorrow, but
come January you can.
Come January I can. So I felt really good about that. So I'm excited. I'm excited to be in Disneyland, and I'm excited to hang out with you guys while we're there at Disneyland. So Tracy and I are going to room together. It's going to be a Darth Vader convention at night with our sleep apnea going strong. So,
and hopefully I'm not going to be that much farther away. So,
nope. You'll be same place. We'll get you set up.
So, but exciting stuff happening. So if you can donate, we would really appreciate it. Every little bit helps.
And every dollar you donate goes directly to ACS. We don't get anything out of this other than the fact that we're doing something good and we're going to go run. But every dollar goes directly to American Cancer Society.
And it is an excuse to go to Disneyland. I mean, that's something that we are getting out of it too.
Does not hurt. Yes.
But yeah, so some big things happening there. Also, don't forget to join our Patreon. We have The Little Mermaid this month. We have The Flash coming up next month on our Patreon. Those are Patreon exclusive episodes. And you don't want to miss them. I mean, you want to know what we think about The Little Mermaid. You want to be there for that.
You want to be part of that world.
Yeah, $3 a month. That's all we're asking on Patreon. That money does go to us, but like in a way that will help us do more fun things.
I mean, not really.
Yeah, it goes for the show.
Kind of pays. It kind of pays for this to be live. To be uploaded.
That's a good point.
And we see none of this money.
Yeah, no.
It makes it so we don't have to go.
Yeah, exactly. So
because we don't get paid to do this. We do this because we love the movies. We love talking about the movies. We love sharing our love for the movies with you. We love to hear your responses to our responses and your responses to the movies. I can't tell you, every time we go to like FanX or other places and people are like, hey, and then they tell us they listen and then they tell us about what they thought of their favorite episode.
Yeah.
And then we chat. Some of you message us on Facebook and Instagram. We love talking to you about movies. Like we do it for the love of film.
Yeah.
But at some point, I'm not going to say I'm going to turn down $20 if we start getting paid. Like I'm not going to turn that down.
Oh yeah, if people wanted to pay us to do this, sponsors.
Yeah, like we're totally gonna say yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. This episode is coming out the Monday before Father's Day.
Uh-huh.
I realized that as I was preparing for this episode.
You don't think we planned this?
I mean, of course we did. We always plan this stuff.
The father episode of
This is the greatest Father's Day movie of all time, in my opinion. I mean,
it probably is actually.
Not Meet the Fockers?
So, I mean, Meet the Fockers is okay.
No.
It's fine.
Oh. This is my favorite Indiana Jones movie.
It's mine
this
too.
This movie, my daughter and I really love. I like to think because I'm not a dad, I'm a mom. But I also wish I was Indiana Jones. Or his dad, either one, that this movie, Sammy and I bonded over. So we kind of feel like we're that to each other. But I just remember her being young and us watching this movie over and over and her just laughing at all these different parts. And I remember watching it with my dad. So yeah, this is one of my favorite movies because of, you have Sean Connery, you have Harrison Ford, two heartthrobs of their time, right? And they're both in this movie together, not playing heartthrobs. Like, as much as you want to think that Harrison Ford is playing a heartthrob, he's not. Like, we think he's hot, but like, they're both cheeky.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're both quirky and cheeky and wearing a lot of brown.
Yeah.
Like, heartthrobs don't wear a lot of brown.
And they spend a good portion of the movie dirty. Not like but like just literally covered in dirt and dust. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or petroleum or rats or snakes. I mean, there's just all sorts of not heartthrobby things going on in this movie.
Yet, we still think they're hot.
They do, however, both get the same girl, but spoilers, she was a Nazi. And they did not know.
I just want to say, let's break this down for a minute.
Even hot Nazi's still a Nazi.
I don't know if we've said the name. We are talking about The Last Crusade. If you guys haven't caught on to that, in this Indiana Jones and The Last Crusade is the movie we're discussing. Okay.
On today's episode of Jerry Springer, we have dads and sons who date the same woman, and she turns out to be a Nazi. Like, this is totally, like, if you break it down, this is a Jerry Springer episode.
It is. Jerry Springer, may he rest in peace. But it is. They shared the same girl.
That's
there's some
awkward
relationship issues going on there.
But I think it's saving grace that she is a Nazi, because then they're like, okay, like, she got us. You know, like, that's what Nazis do.
And I can't tease you about it because Nazi got me as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I still think that, like, his dad is still just oblivious to, like, what actually occurred. You know what I mean? I don't think it ever, like, in the film, he still thinks that she's got hots for him.
Yeah.
Right? Like, and I just love back and forth. Like, their chemistry on screen together is so fun.
Yeah.
And then it opens up with River Phoenix being, you know, young Indy, which is so fun. They shoot that in Utah, that little part.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think it even in universe takes place in Utah.
Yeah,
which is awesome. Yeah. So this movie is the first movie that I really remember seeing in the theater. And sorry, Tracy, I apologize. Yeah. but this was the first movie that really stands out to me where I think I love movies because I saw this on the big screen. I love going to movie theaters because I saw this on the big screen. Yeah. And even watching it on my much smaller screen at home, it still brings back that magic of this is a film that is just so much fun, so well done, so put together. Like, there's not a lot of missteps in it, and I just enjoy it from start to finish. I'm not bored in the movie. I don't know.
Yeah.
And let's say you haven't seen any of these movies for a while, and you're like, hey, kids, you're always talking about these movies. Where could we see it? Well, the cool thing is at the beginning, or actually, the beginning of last month, all of the Indiana Jones movies dropped on Disney Plus. So if you have Disney Plus, you can now watch them, but you can also HBO Max, or I think it's just called Max now.
It is just Max.
Mm-hmm.
Max
yes.
has it. If you have YouTube, the movie YouTube, it's on there. So a bunch of different places you can watch these. I prefer, I own all of the digital copies and the set of the discs. And when I went and donated a bunch of my discs, I did not get rid of that. I wanted to have that.
Yeah. I prefer it personally on VHS because that's how I remember watching it most of the time. We had the VHS cassette, but I don't have it anymore, unfortunately.
We have discussed about how back in the day, how you would record and you'd record it in EP mode so that you could fit more on there.
But
quality be darned.
But I think this was one that we actually had the legit.
You had the official VHS.
Yeah, I think we got like the box set one time.
This wasn't the whole bootleg thing.
No, this was like I think this was one where my parents were like, yeah, we'll spring for that. And I don't.
For Harrison Ford and Sean Connery, what a deal.
Yeah.
What a deal.
Now, this movie could have been way different, guys.
Well,
originally, it had Indiana Jones fighting a ghost. And then they decided that wasn't going to work. And then Joe Dante, who did
Was it
Gremlins,
Hitler's?
He did one.
I would have paid for that.
He did one that was called Indiana Jones and the Monkey King.
Okay.
And it was the Monkey King who had a mechanical arm. And they decided that the cannibalism and other things were not a good idea. And so they all the stereotypes of Africa weren't going to go over well. So they dropped that. And then they got Joe Dante, who did Inner Space, which is a classic 80s comedy with Martin Short. And
totally would have been great for Indiana Jones.
He rewrote it and came up with The Last Crusade. So
what I like about this movie, and it would have been interesting to do something like the Monkey King one. Yes, I mean, obviously it probably would not have aged well at all, but it would have been interesting to do something in a different part of the world, because we have, we have already Raiders of the Lost Ark, where they're in the Middle East, they're looking for the Ark of the Covenant and all of that. And we have Temple of Doom, which is in India and that part of the world. And then it would have been interesting to have something different, but I like that this one kind of takes us back to what worked really well in Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yes.
And I'm not mad about it. I always say, like, Indy
spend
fighting Nazis, I'll pay money for that every time. Every time.
Yeah. And they're not spending the whole time in the Middle East. I mean, we've got the American Southwest, we get Europe. So, I mean, there's a variety of places, but
Venice.
Yeah. One of the things I love about this film is that they actually make Marcus Brody. Like they give him a reason, like they give him some things to do, and you kind of get to see his personality a little bit, and you get to see John Rhys Davies a little bit more. He like
as Sala is so great.
He is fantastic.
And I love that we're going to see him back as Sala in the new movie. But he's been John Rhys Davies. I have so many stories, but he is a great actor, but he's also a great person, and he's a troublemaker. But I really love that they give Marcus Brody some things to do, because he's been a part of, both of the Joneses, Dr. Jones's lives for a long time. And I really love how they kind of let him shine in this movie.
Yeah. And this brings so much to the Indiana Jones mythos, because as we open up in Southwest Utah, we get the origin of, in that first few minutes, we get the whole origin of Indiana Jones, why he's afraid of snakes, the scar on his chin,
the bullwhip,
where he gets his hat. And really, let's be honest, he rips off that guy's whole style.
Yeah.
I mean,
but he does it better.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
So, and I love that. So we get a little bit of the origin story, and we get to see him interacting with his dad. I will also say that the scout troop makes me laugh every time, because I think growing up in Utah, that is what every scoutmaster thought his scout troop was, and the high adventure camps that they were going to go and do. And it was not at all what scouting was really like.
Nope.
Like, you were lucky if people showed up in their shirts and not, I mean.
Oh, we were collapsing other kids' tents. We were throwing cow pies in the fire.
Yeah.
Taking sticks and wrapping saran wrap, and then setting the saran wrap on fire so it would like drip fire as you walked around. Yeah.
Like, as they pull up to the cave and he's like, dismount, and they all get off in unison except for the one kid. I would have been the one kid that fell off the horse. And I'm like, this is what every scoutmaster thought. Okay, now that I'm doing scouts, this is what it's going to be like. We're going to do high adventure. It's going to be Indiana Jones. No, man, that is not.
We're going to be camping in Bill's backyard again. Let's make sure you guys know how to put that tent up.
Yep. Oh, we got to make sure we turn off the sprinklers so they don't turn on at 3:00 in the morning.
Every time. Every time.
The only thing worse than camping in the backyard and that happening, because at least you were in a tent, was when you were sleeping out at your friend's house that had a trampoline and they forgot to turn the sprinklers off.
Yes.
And so you woke up and you were just it was not great.
But because of this movie, Spielberg got he got to be an honorary Eagle Scout.
I mean, they just kind of throw that around. Like they just hand those out to everybody, right? That makes a movie about the Scouts. So like 4 people. Yeah, I mean, why not? You know, I mean, he probably knows how to do some of that stuff. He made Jaws. I feel like he should get
that's
just
true.
for getting through the making of Jaws. You should get.
And Val, speaking of Jaws, they're coming out with the Jaws Lego set that looks incredible.
Yes.
Comes with the shark, the boat, and the minifigs of the 3. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Also, this movie in particular had feel like of old Hollywood, like that set feel, the sets. I know sometimes we don't want to actually acknowledge that things are shot on sets, but you know, as you've got Indy like running through the dusty, dirty village, and then he puts, you know, Marcus in this hut, and then the door comes up, and then it's actually a thing, and you know, like I don't know. It's really kind of cool how you go from into one thing into the other thing. One thing moves away, and it's just like all this fun stuff. And I'm like this is cool because you know it's on a set. It's built for this, and they've choreographed all this stuff out, and it works, and the timing is great.
My favorite set piece in this is the when the room's on fire. The banter with each other, as well as the way that shot. That is just such a great scene.
Harrison Ford and Sean Connery, so much chemistry there, and the writing is fantastic. Which is, I'm just going to say it right now because why not? This is why we need writers and why we should support them. And AI can never replace what writers do. It just can't. But the dialogue that these guys have and the things that they say to each other, I love it when he's like, "You're an adult. There's no way he would have brought the Grail Diary here. He's not that stupid. You didn't." It's just, I mean, their expressions.
The whole scene when they're tied to the chairs together, that just the back and I mean, visually that's a cool scene as well.
Right.
But just like, so take away all the crazy stuff that's happening behind them, like just that back and forth in that scene, and then when they're on the blimp is one of my favorite scenes. No ticket.
Well, I love when they escape, they get to the boat, and he's untying the boat because he's going to make that the distraction. So they go after the boat, and his dad throws him the bag, and he throws it back to him. We're not taking the boat, but the boat, like, it's just all of it is just so well done. These guys, I mean, Harrison Ford at this point is a megastar.
Yeah.
Sean Connery, obviously, megastar at this point.
Yeah.
Both so talented at their craft, and it just comes through that they're just having a good time.
And it's just, again, it's fun and cheeky. Like when they're in the library that used to be a church, and they're hitting the ground as the lady is stamping the book, like at the same time, and he's like, he like puts it away because he thinks it's like I'm not going to use that stamp
I'm really getting
anymore.
aggressive on this stamp.
But like, I just like the little things about that, because easily you could have just had the scene where they're breaking the ground open, right? And then they go down there. But those little things that are back and forth like that, that's what takes it to the next level of storytelling.
Right.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. And it keeps it, I mean, it just keeps it light too. And I don't know. It's just so much more entertaining when that's firing on all cylinders.
Coming off the second one that we talked about last week, it was so dark and it was so serious and this is back to that pulp adventure 1940s serial type filmmaking story. Yeah.
There were moments as I was watching it that thinking of it like a pulp magazine or even an old comic, like where the shots that they had and the way they were framed. I'm like, you could put that. I couldn't, but someone who can draw could put that into a comic book frame and it would look perfect. It would look great. I'm thinking of the scene where the guys that are following with the fezzes, right? And they're in that hole and they're looking in and there's the three of them. And I'm like, that's like the cover of a comic book or like the end splash page where it's like, come back next week to find out what's going to happen to Indy and whatever her name is, Nazi lady.
I can't remember. Ellie?
Yeah. I mean, Nazi lady's good.
Yeah.
Elsa.
Elsa. I was close. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, and this was the movie that made me like, I thought that seeing Petra, this is the first time I saw Petra. Like I'd never seen it before. And I was like, okay, that's really cool. And I had found out that they actually have an Indiana Jones store. It's a little it's like a roadside stand that sells bootleg Indiana Jones merchandise.
Nice.
I'm like,
nice.
That's awesome.
We don't endorse bootlegging, but sometimes we do.
But I'm like,
but sometimes it fits.
Yeah, it works.
We're not doing it.
I mean, if you're going to be in front of this really important, famous monument, you might as well hawk some souvenirs. You know?
Yeah, good for them.
It's like in front of monuments.
You go to the Eiffel Tower
all over the
world. All these guys trying to hawk you the miniature Eiffel Towers.
Like if you're a monument, that's what you get. Right. That's what you deserve.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what you deserve.
I don't know.
I hope someday someone is selling bootleg merchandise of me.
Are you even a monument if you don't have bootleg merchandise?
Jake Dietz. I'd
Listen,
be interested in that.
I already feel like I'm the Wish version of somebody, so I don't know that you want a bootleg version of me, but
you are one of a kind.
You are an Etsy, Jake.
An Etsy.
You're not a Wish, you're an Etsy. You're handcrafted.
Well, that's probably true. This movie just builds so well. Like as you get, it's one adventure to the next. As you go from, they're looking for his dad. They find his dad at the castle. They've got to escape the castle. Then they've got to go to Berlin and get the diary. And I love it that they get Hitler to sign the diary, not on purpose, but it happens. And then you've got the whole chase through the desert. And then it all culminates with the final scene. I mean, it is just one good beat after another. And each scene seems to like top itself in some way. The battle on the tank is one of my favorite Indiana Jones sequences. So good. And then when they think he's dead and he just kind of walks up behind him and he's just looking over the ledge, like just admiring his work. Yep, that's me. I got that tank over that cliff.
Well, that whole sequence is so good because they keep figuring out interesting things to do on the tank. And he gets his bag caught on the turret, and then the turret's digging into the rock wall, and then up ahead the rock wall is ending, so he's going to be smashed, so he's got to get out of that, and then he's on the treads, and it just builds and builds and builds off of this one item, and it's so much fun.
And that's so Indiana Jones too.
Yeah.
I mean, we talked about in February, we talked about James Bond, and he's just cool as a cucumber. You've got like your Captain America types that like are just so capable.
Yes.
Then there's Indy, who is like more my style. He succeeds despite his best efforts to not. Like he's just not good at any of this, but he just keeps going because he doesn't know what else to do. I'll figure something out. That, when he says that to his friend, I'll figure something out. Like that is him.
Yes.
He's falling apart. He's hanging on by the strap on the tank. He'll figure it out. He'll be fine.
Yeah. There's a giant rock wall coming up to crush you, but yeah, we'll figure it.
I've still got time. I'm not crushed yet, so I've still got time to figure out how to not get crushed.
Yeah. Yeah.
So as you're going through your work week this week, friends, and you're thinking, I'm not going to make it. Listen, you're not crushed yet. Just keep going. You'll figure it out. You'll get through the week.
Did you even die?
Yeah,
you're gonna punch that Nazi.
Yeah. Which we fully endorse, by the way, kids.
Absolutely.
Punching Nazis, totally acceptable. He even shoots some Nazis in this one. his dad's like, what did you do?
Oh, they're not Nazis, but the boat propeller.
Yeah. Those guys were, I think they were kind of almost good guys, but not really good guys. I don't know what they were.
Like they're trying to protect the Grail. And
that's right. They have a mission, a holy mission to protect the Grail.
They were actually pretty decent guys.
Yeah.
But like that's what their job was to die.
Well, I mean, you gotta have
the main guy. The main guy didn't seem to be upset at all that they died.
Yeah, he's like, my soul's prepared. How about yours?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. So chew on that.
And there's so many memorable lines in this movie. I mean, like the whole chair scene where he's like, the chair's on fire. So is the floor.
Chair's on fire.
But then you've got, you've chosen wisely.
Yes.
I mean, there's so much stuff. The
I remember. Was it the Pizza Hut commercial when we were little? And I remember that so much as that scene is like Pizza Hut was doing a thing.
I think it was
they would play it over and over.
Was it Pepsi that did it? Like, because it was like the choice of a new generation. You select the Pepsi.
It was Pepsi.
Maybe. Like, I still think Pizza
but it was
Hut
something.
Also did
Pizza Hut probably did.
I think they were, with a few things, but I just remember seeing that commercial over and over. Again, and Pepsi sounds right because the choice of a new generation you chose.
Chose wisely. I don't know, but that scene is always. I think of whatever commercial it was. I think of it too. Like it was so overplayed.
Yeah,
and we had 5 channels and they all played the same commercials, guys. That's.
Yeah, I think Pizza Hut had the cup, like the glasses you could go in and buy.
Yeah,
like the 4 glasses of the movie or something.
Yeah.
And that was back when you would eat inside a Pizza Hut.
Yeah, there are only a few of those in the.
I miss those days. That pizza would come out at 400 degrees and that cast iron skillet just bubbling.
Yeah, that was the kind.
And if you brought in your reading coupons, you would get your own personal pan one.
And they would take that personal pan also at 400 degrees and set it right in front of you, a 6-year-old, and say, "Don't touch it because it's hot." And then they'd walk away, and that was it.
The 15-year-old would serve the 6-year-old a 400-degree plate. Yeah.
Yeah.
There'd be like Galaga over in the corner or Pac-Man,
Yeah. Yep.
Sometimes they were right on the table.
Sometimes they were on the table.
Yeah.
Yes.
But see, that's where parenting comes in.
Yeah.
They're just doing their job. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that was the kind of dangers we faced on a daily basis. Hot plates placed in front of us all the time.
Now I sit next to people at restaurants and they're like still cutting their 17-year-old boy's steak for him because they don't want him to touch a knife. I've seen it. These are things that still happen.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
I'm sorry if I just shamed someone. You do you.
Listen.
I'm so sorry.
But
I know.
But the problem is those people did not watch enough Indiana Jones growing up.
Yep.
Watch more indie.
The other scene that I love is when they're doing the invisible walk, the invisible bridge.
Yes.
Because that is, I've watching Val, speaking of the collector's edition, that they have like behind the scenes about how they made that. And like that's all painted on glass and then shot in such a way that it looks like it's this actual chasm. And that to me, that's some of the I'm okay with the CGI. Like I have no problem with that.
Yeah.
But there's
practical
effects so cool about taking a pane of glass and painting on it and then lighting it in such a way that it looks like it's this entire cave.
I mean, that's original filmmaking, man.
Yeah.
I love it.
Well, and I'm not anti-CGI either, but it's going to sound like it for a minute.
There's a time and a place.
Yeah. There's just something about watching, speaking of set pieces and things like that, when they're interacting and it's like you can tell that they are there in the space and they're interacting with something that is also there. Like there's a big difference between like Luke interacting with Yoda in Empire Strikes Back compared to Yoda spinning all over the place inside. Like they're both cool, but it's just different. And I think that you get the same thing on these set pieces and things like that in Indiana Jones, that now I watch a movie and I'm like, that was probably green screen and CGI. And it's okay. I've gotten used to it and it is what it is.
And it's a different type of artistry. Yeah. I mean, there are artists that are producing that stuff and it works. It's cool. But there's just something that I love the tangible stuff. And just the idea of somebody hand painting on glass and then filming it in such a way that it fools the eye. Like there's just such craftsmanship in that I love.
Yeah. Well, and I love too that when he does throw the rocks on there and he gets to the other side, when they go back and show it, or when he's on the bridge and they show it, then you can see it. Like it's just, but you couldn't see it before. It's just really cool. Just really, really well done.
Yeah. So if you haven't rewatched this movie, go do it.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's worth it.
Oh, this one.
It holds up.
Yeah. And we talked about this last week. It seems like the odd ones, the odd number films are the better ones. So I'm really hoping that 5 continues this tradition.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think it will.
I'm hopeful. I've heard good things overall, and it looks good. And like I said last week, I mean, I really feel like Harrison Ford is kind of underappreciated in terms of his acting ability.
Yeah. Yeah. He's, I think that happens a lot with a lot of the action stars that are in more action type movies. And that was his bread and butter for a long time.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I mean, some of them, that's the reason why the stereotype is there. Like, stereotypes exist for a reason.
Oh my gosh, Dave says that all the time. Are you guys hanging out?
Hey, I've got to tell you. So the other day, Tracy came to pick something up from my house, and I said, this is one of my friends is coming over. And I said, guess which friend is coming over? And Ben said, is it Babe? And I said, it is not. And then he was like, oh, is it Tracy? It is. So apparently, like, Babe, Tracy, Val, that's my rotation of friends. When I say a friend is,
I have to really quick because, and I can show this on here because when this episode comes out, the recipient will have already seen it. But Jake's wife, in her creative, talented way, made a wedding present for a friend of mine and friend of the program, James Owen. And it is an Eggs Benedict.
Oh, that's cute.
It is a crocheted Eggs Benedict, and there's a whole story about that. And if you know James, you know about the Eggs Benedict.
I love it.
So, but that's funny. He asked if it was Babe. He didn't even say Dave. He said Babe. That's fantastic.
It's Babe. So I'm sure you can let Dave know. Ben believes that he is just Babe.
Since the minute I met Dave, he would say that. Like stereotypes are there for a reason. And I never heard anybody say that before. And then now you say it and you guys don't hang out. I'm not saying like you're not friends.
No,
but
we
don't hang out.
We don't hang out.
And so that's like, oh.
Yeah.
Did we just become best friends?
Yeah. But like Arnold Schwarzenegger, But Harrison Ford, I think, is a very good actor.
The thing that, and I haven't seen the film yet. I'm going to see it here soon, but the thing I'm excited about with 5 is that they're not shying away from the fact that Harrison Ford is an older man.
No, like they're leaning into it.
And Harrison Ford said he turned down several scripts because they kind of like make jokes about it. And he's like, no, let's tell an honest story where this is an actual, let's acknowledge it. Let's play into it. Yeah. And so I'm interested in that for sure.
Mm-hmm.
All right. If you guys haven't guessed, this is Movies That Make Us Raw because we are after dark, but it's getting late.
My eyes
are
I know. And Val has been traveling today. We appreciate Val being here to record this episode. Let's give this a grade so that Val could get some sleep.
It is an A for me. Surprise, surprise. This is my favorite Indiana Jones movie. It's also just one of my favorite movies of all time. I love the fact that it is multi-generational. Like my dad loves it. My kid loves it. I love it. Like, it's just, there's something about Indiana Jones that I think you can watch at any time with anybody and they're going to enjoy it. And if they don't, you don't want to hang out with those people anyway.
Yep.
And this movie, I think, is so endearing and so quirky and so fun, and just the timing of it. It just keeps you, it like keeps pulling you in and you laugh. It's so.
It is.
I'm going to continue the streak. I'm going A with this one.
Yeah.
I would put this and Raiders are my 2 favorites. I like them for different reasons. But this one I've got really fond memories of. I remember going to see this in the theater and absolutely just falling head over heels for it. And it was my first Indiana Jones in the theater because I was not able to see Temple of Doom in the theater, as we talked about last week. I was not ready and too young. So this was my first Indy in the theater on the big screen. Saw opening weekend with the family. The like you said, Val, the set pieces, everything just builds, it flows. There's no dead spots. The comedy, the dialogue, Sala coming back, A for me.
Yep. I'm not going to buck the trend. It's an A from me as well. I kind of knew going into this was going to end up being AAA rated. It just is. I'm with you, Val. Not just one of my favorite Indiana Jones movies, but one of my favorite movies of all time. Like, this is one of the movies, 4 or 5, that I can look at and say, this is why I love movies.
Yeah.
And that's not going to be the same for everybody, but that's how it is for me with this one, and I love it. So, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, AAA rated. We are going to be back next week. We are going to rerun our episode where we talked about Raiders of the Lost Ark. That was our second episode ever. It was the first movie we ever discussed. Maybe at some point we'll redo the episode and see how it goes now, but I think we'd still give it the same ratings.
Maybe have some special guests on with us to really.
We had a few people that were a little salty that they weren't invited onto the recording.
Yeah. I ran into one in person that would have been eager to join us for that recording.
We'll do a big round table.
Yeah, so we'll have to do
a big. Fits with the Holy Grail.
Maybe what we should do is episode 200 is coming up in like 10 episodes. Maybe that can be our 200th episode.
Maybe.
I think that's a fine idea.
But in the meantime, go follow us on YouTube. Subscribe there. That helps us to get more noticed and get more people watching us. Follow us wherever you listen to podcasts. And please join our Patreon, support us there. And if you can, even $5, donate to the American Cancer Society on our page.
$5, I will get Valerie to dress up in a pair of white cowboy boots.
Okay, Tracy, we've talked about this.
I'll do some new boot.
You can't put other people on the line. Like, you can say, if you pay $5, I'll buy white cowboy boots and shorty shorts.
Some white cowboy boots.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Oh, now we're adding shorty shorts in there. I thought there was. Just
well, I mean, if Tracy's going to do it, I want him to go all out. I want shorty shorts. I want white cowboy boots.
You better be donating more than $5.
Yeah. Okay. Well, if we get $100 this week, we'll get Tracy in shorty shorts and white cowboy boots.
I'll do it. If we can raise money to fight cancer, I will absolutely do it.
Thank you, guys.
I already have the shorts for you.
Are they stretchy shorts?
I mean,
I'll channel my inner Jack Black.
Yeah. Tracy.
Somebody donate $100.
Listen, Tracy sent us the most disturbing Jack Black video this last week, and I'm still not over it.
They're amazing.
Okay.
It was Tenacious D covering Wicked Game by Chris Isaac, and it's
I love it.
Black and
I remember that music video as a kid, and it made me feel things. Like, as a teenager, this music video also made me feel things, but they were very different things. Thank you guys so much for listening and watching. We appreciate your support. And until next time, maybe we'll see you at the movies.
Watch our Facebook page and win some tickets and see us at the movies.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
All right. We'll see you all later.
Bye.
This has been an Age of Geek media production.